Hello, hello. Welcome to Monday Night Live. It is the 6th of June and winter is here. We're all in our winter warmers and an Arctic blast has hit the nation. So if you are watching live, please let me know. I'm Yvonne Shepherd. I am the founder and CEO of Women's Fitness Adventures, and I'm delighted that you're here on this Monday Night Live. Got a few things that I want to talk about tonight as I rub my hands to keep them warm here in Queensland, which is nowhere near as cold as the rest of the country. So tonight I want to talk about a couple of things. And if you are on our email list, you would have received our newsletter, which is kind of a hint as to what I'm going to talk about tonight. And if you're not on our newsletter list, then head to womensfitnessadventures.com and register your details. So let's see who's here. Yes, Janet in Sydney is layering up, and Rod down in their chilly Launceston. Oh gosh, that must be, I can't even imagine what that is like, because I don't think my minimum gets to your maximum gets to my minimum. So anyway, if you are watching, and thank you for sharing, Janet and Rod. If you're watching and you want to share where you're watching from, that would be great. Let us know if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay. And remember that I can't see you unless you pop it in there. So if you are in your jammies in front of the fire or wearing the Uggies or something like that, or wherever you are in the world, be great to let you know. And feel free to chat along tonight, because there's some great, lots of snow in your line of sight. Wow. Okay, Brod, thanks for that. Gosh. Judith is in Hobart. Belinda is in Brisbane. And Sandra is on the chilly Central Coast. Patricia's delighted that I'm here too. Beautiful day at Crescent Head, but cold now. Yeah, so I think it's meant to get a little bit chillier. And Annie from Noosa. Hi, Annie. Thank you for joining in as well. So I just want to start out by saying that some days all the time, we are all trying our absolute best. And some days are more challenging than others. And all anyone can ask is that we do try our very best. So if you've had a challenging day or a super day, I just want to acknowledge every single person out there who's watching live and watching on the replay. Congratulations, you, on doing your best. Life is pretty tough and pretty challenging for us all right now. We thought 2022 would be a little bit easier, but there's so many challenges as we, emerge out of 2 unprecedented years. So just congratulate you on being you and, on doing your very best and showing up as you. So Roanne from Brisbane, Kerry from Lonergan, which I'm assuming, I think Kerry is Victoria, New South Wales border somewhere, Tracy in a chilly Hervey Bay, and Wendy from chilly Northeast Victoria. And we know, Wendy, how chilly it is for you there as well. So if you read the newsletter, or if you haven't got it yet, because I literally just sent it, I went to see Top Gun on Thursday night, which is why, for those of you who were doing functional fitness Thursday night, you had Trisha and not me. And hello, Fiona, yes, from chilly Brisbane. And I was so excited. We watched the original Top Gun the night before. So Wednesday night, we watched the original Top Gun. We can pretty much recite all the lines and all the movements and stuff. And so we got there, my husband and I, and had the popcorn. And of course, when you have the popcorn, then you needed to have a drink to go with it. It was a bit of a popcorn ends up all over you. And we were in the gold class, so we had our legs up, and it was fabulous, and fabulous for so many reasons. And Belinda's seen it. If you've seen Top Gun, just give me a comment in there. But I thought it was fantastic, and for so many reasons, because I could escape. The etiquette in the cinema is none of these. This was off. Or it was silent. It was chucked in the bag. The music, the music's building, and I kept nudging my husband, going, "It's building, it's building, it's building." Hi, Tracy. And Rowan says a great movie as well. It's building, it's building. It didn't quite get to the same extent of the music from the original, but it was building, and you knew it was there. It was also that the movie came full circle as well, in that there's not a lot of movies that I can recall, and maybe, I haven't been to the movies in a long time, which is probably why I enjoyed it so much, that actually bring the same character, and a lot of the same characters full circle. But it wasn't only the full circle for Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer and stuff. It was full circle for me as well, because I can recall exactly where I was 36 years ago. I was 20 years old. I was at university. I had the whole world ahead of me, never thinking that the stuff that would play out in my life would actually happen. And, I'm sitting there, and I couldn't wait to get, for tonight to talk to you guys about it, because I'm sitting there going, oh, I can talk on Monday Night Live about this and about that. And it was very nostalgic for me, because I felt that, where did those 36 years go? Did anyone else feel that? Like, it seems like yesterday that I was 20, and in a couple of months' time, weeks, I should say, I'll be 56. Where did those 36 years go? What have I done? Did I live every day? I bet you I did. Well, I did live every day. That's a silly statement. Did I make the most out of every day? Well, on the whole, I'd like to think that I did. And, I often say hiking is a lot like life. Those 36 years, there were times where I wanted to hide under the bed and I'd wake up and go, I'm still here. Some very challenging times. But then there were other times where life just hummed along, and, those sweet times. There were times in those 36 years where I had both parents, and now I don't. And there were times where there was heartbreak and heartache, and then my heart got full again. And the places and the spaces and the things that I've learned and things that I've discovered about me and everyone else around me. I'm not perfect. I never pretend to be perfect. And as I said at the beginning, everyone's simply trying and doing their best every single day. But, the sum of that 36 years is me. I'm me, you're you. And, it's all of those life experiences and all of those moments and all of those things that we did or we didn't do, the steps we made forward, that consistency of movement, of all those things that have got us to where we are today. So we may think that not every day, and this is all from a movie, so if I'm overanalyzing it, please just let me know in the chat, or if you agree or disagree. But, over those 36 years, it's the consistency of doing something all the time that leads us exactly to where we are right now. And, the consistency of showing up in your life, of showing up if you've had promotions at work, of showing up, of doing the job, of taking that next step, of asking for help or asking for support. It's all of those things that may not seem, 36 years ago, I would never have projected, that I would be sitting here talking to a computer screen. Gosh, computers weren't even a thing. Oh, they were, at uni. I had to write on those cards and stick them into the slots, which didn't quite work well for me. But, and this would never have been in our pocket. And, I could never have imagined that I would have, this behind me, so I look at those 36 years and, some days were bigger than weeks were bigger than I ever thought I could bite off. And so I didn't. I just took one little chew at a time and became, that one step became the next step. And then you look back and it became a giant leap. And that giant leap is 36 years of my life. So that's a lot from a movie. And I hope that hasn't been too deep. So I'll give you something lighthearted to go with it. I love the thrill of the movie. I love the lightheartedness of the movie as well. And in terms of, it wasn't a lighthearted theme, but it was an escape, and it was that sense that things are returning to some sort of semblance of maybe it's not normal, but of what I remember. And do we always remember those things in the past with nostalgia, and that they were easier back then? And when I say return to familiar, it's only a couple of years where going to the movies was really familiar. So it had so many things. And sitting next to me, this young 20-something, two 20-something guys came and sat down, and I was thinking, this doesn't mean the same to you as it means to me. This is my whole life in front of me. This is my whole life of the movie in my own head about my own life was going around and around and around and around the whole time. You weren't even born when this movie was made. Well, it might have been, but they would have been really little. And so I had all that going on as well. But here's the thing, and if you've seen it, please let me know. We spend all of some of, when we're little, we're different. We all like being a little individual and we don't conform. And then we spend a lot of our life conforming and trying to fit in, to not stand out, to be accepted. And then we get to a point where, as women, I don't know about you, but sometimes it feels like when we get to a certain age, we become invisible, and we still want to stand out. And then we speak our mind and get labeled as all sorts of things as well. But then somewhere along the line, I think the switch flips and we step into ourselves. And I think I've said this before, that I remember an interview with John Travolta saying when he turned 50, he finally felt like he'd arrived, that he had nothing to prove, that he was who he was. And I don't know if it's 50 for me, because I'm older than that, but I feel like I'm at a point where, as I said, I am who I am. That sum of the 36 years and the total of the 56 years that I'll be soon has made me who I am, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the me is me. And you can choose to like that, or you can choose to leave that. But that's who I am. And I think for all of us, that's who we are. But on the lighter side, and I promised you a lighter side, and please agree or disagree with me, because I'm not Bill Collins analysing the movie. I'm Yvonne Shepherd giving you my take on Top Gun and what it meant to me. And this may sound harsh, does anyone else think that the male actors, and it's probably true for females, but I was only looking at from a male perspective, the male actors over 50, over maybe 55, are all starting to look the same. I thought that as nice as Tom Cruise looks and his beautiful smile, or his dazzling smile, is that, he's still got the wrinkles and stuff, but there may have been a little bit of enhancement there, that he did look a touch like Dustin Hoffman and a touch like Charlie Sheen. Are they all starting to look the same? And we're trying so hard to, conform most of our lives and get to a point where, no, we want to stand alone as who we are. So Simone says, I was feeling like that before my injuries. And I'm assuming that's not to my statement about, do we all feel the same? We'll look the same. All the men look the same. But I think about that invisibility and conforming and hiding might be what you were feeling before your injury, Simone. I'm not really sure which bit, because there might be a bit of a delay. You agree with that about the male actors? Yeah, somebody does. That's a good thing. So we struggle to find our own voice, and then we find our own voice. We blend in and don't want to stand out. And then we get to a point where we, keep our head down and move along. And then we get to the point where we go, actually, I have a lot to give. I have a lot to share. I am who I am. And, probably Helen Reddy, I could launch into that, I am woman, hear me roar. Just having that confidence within ourselves. We do beat ourselves up a lot as women. And that self-talk is so, can be so negative and so damaging to us at times. And I'm one, I do it. Simone. Okay, so John Travolta, you felt like you'd arrived. Yeah, absolutely. And as I said before, the movie brought up so much for me in terms of, how did I get here? How did I end up being the person I am today? And for each and every one of us, we all stand alone in our experiences of life, our journeys, our background and education. And, there is no one like each and every one of us in the world. No one with our lived experience, no one with our life experience, no one with our skill set, our wisdom, our insight, our personality. And for that, we should each stand tall and each be proud. And Helen has come in right on cue here and says, I choose to stand in my higher power and be who and what I want to be. Absolutely. But I think, Helen, there is a point we arrive at as well. And we have to consciously get ourselves to that point in our mindset, because it is always a work in progress. And hi, Kay, to you. And I sit here, my 56 years before you, and well, I don't know everyone who's watching, but for those of you who know me, I am so passionate about women's health. And I was talking to my husband last night about work, and and I've said this before, if I measure success and the ability to get women active and stronger for life, then, I'm extremely successful. But I'm also passionate about how we need to help ourselves and to give the women around me and those who enter my world the skills they need to do the same. And in the newsletter tonight, I spoke about the importance of having a coach, and that coach, for whether you are choosing to be an Olympic athlete or whether you are choosing to, learn the ukulele in terms of a music teacher, or you are choosing to run, in a fun run or ride a horse or anything. Having a coach gives you the technical ability and skill to be able to, achieve to the level that you want to get to. And, having a coach is like teaching someone to fish. Teach them to fish and you'll feed them for life. Just give them the fish and you feed them for a meal. And that, I think, is the role of a coach, is to teach the skills to be able to stand on our own 2 feet in whatever that chosen field is. And I'm sure that Tom Cruise would have had a coach too. He would have had an acting coach, a voice coach, a physical coach, a smile coach. I'm sure he would have had, I think he was the director or the producer. He would have had a coach to get into that position as well. And I know he apparently holds a whole lot of pilot license and boat license and all sorts of license. He would have had a coach or a trainer or someone to teach him that. Okay, I'm just going to read this. Hi, Ivan, I love your chats. I just feel like I'm raving a little bit. I have lots of injuries, inquiries, and a few medical issues. I still love my exercising on days where I feel well and other days where my body tells me to rest. Yeah, and Gail, I'll just touch on that because I think it is important that we learn to listen to our bodies. And some of you may know I've had some back niggles lately as well. And I, was not listening to my body. I was pushing through. And once you listen and you understand and you know what your body is saying and what your head is saying, and they're two different things, it can make such a big difference. But that forward focus on movement, whether it happens, all each day or whether it happens every other day, as long as it's a forward focus within the realms of our, physical ability at the time, and life is full of those ups and downs. So thank you for sharing that, Gail. So I had a couple of emails, and I apologise to Brod and to Catherine and to Suze, who sent some emails in, and I haven't replied, and I do apologise. And they were amazing emails about how being involved with Women's Fitness Adventures has made such a difference about that. And I think Patricia, she's watching tonight, said that, being involved is all about movement, that importance of movement from Catherine, from Brod, from Suze, of getting up, of being consistent, of stepping out of what we perceive as our comfort zone. I shouldn't chew on my pen like that, of our perceived comfort zone as well. We all like being comfy. Our ego wants us to be comfy. So, those emails, thank you so much, Brod. Thank you so much, Catherine, who, Brod down there in Chile, Tasmania, is involved and is an amazing contributor to our community, especially Book Club Bronwyn, but also the, just the impact that by you stepping in has had on your physical movement. And we know the reasons that you are involved from a physical movement point of view as well. And from Suze, who tells me that I'm in her head most days when she's moving, especially on her recent coast trek, fabulous result. And from Catherine, who said that, she's been on a couple of adventures with us and then went off on one, not quite a hiking adventure, but a different adventure to another part of Australia, and realised just how much she'd learned, that she was capable of doing, the different walks that were on offer with the different groups, that she knew the poles from the boots, that she knew how to be prepared and how to be safe on the trail as well. And that is teaching someone to fish. So it is, there's such thrilling emails for us to get. Hello from hot North Queensland. Well, hello, Kathy. You are probably the only one who's chimed in with hello from hot there. Before I finish, I hope that I've given you something to think about, at least, whether you agree with me or not, given you something to think about. Don't come to the movie with me if you don't like the analysis of my movies, because I think there's always, a bit like a book, there's always something to learn and share. And Book Club is always one of those that we have online as well. Yes, what is hot? That's what I would like to know. For 8 years we've been going. We had our May month, and we've been teaching and training women online and in person for 8 years in terms of hiking. And we know that each and every one who goes is successful should she choose to put in the work. And, we also take women on hiking adventures all over the world, but those places are quite highly contested. When we teach women to hike, you can take on any trail in the world. So any hiking adventure, adventure being, half an hour to, local, trails, begins with you as the person, and we can give you those skills to do that, whether that's in your realm or, just something that you're thinking of doing. And you can find out more by visiting our website and clicking on membership. That is up there at the moment. and it's open. So just remember, no matter how high profile people may be, Tom Cruise being one of those, that he had a coach, he had support, he had someone teaching him how to fish to get to be one of the biggest and most influential actors in the world. And not only back then in 1986, but now in 2022. And it takes a lot of, maybe it's ego, guts, determination to hold a movie over for a couple of years to release it. And, you know, I because we went to the cinema with my husband's work and it was released by Val Morgan, it was their night. They said it was the biggest release weekend for Tom Cruise ever. And so that takes a lot to hold something over. So he would not have done that without a team of support. And look at the result that he got. And you too can have that result in whatever you choose if you choose to get a coach. So that's it for tonight. You know, 36 years on, I hope you're 36. You can look back over and realize that it is the sum of you, the sum of us, each of us here at 36 years later. So thank you for watching. If you have any comments, you might think of them later on, please drop them in. Because I love the chats, even though it's one way. I love the chats. I look forward to seeing our members. Remember, tomorrow night is our cardio boost, the first one, cardio boost at 4:45 Brisbane time. If that time doesn't suit, please let us know, because unless we know, we can't make any changes. And then we have a couple of online meetings this week for Adventures Going Places. Functional Fitness back on Thursday. I look forward to seeing you there, and lots of other stuff happening inside the membership. So please jump in there and have a look. And if you're not a member, click on join now. So that's it from me. Happy Monday. Stay warm, everyone. Get under the rug, put the Ugg boots on, maybe put a beanie on if you're in Queensland, because we don't have those lovely toasty warm fires. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to catching up with you next Monday here on Monday Night Live. See you then. Bye.